Two people bought a home in the same year, in the same city, for the same price. One of them ended up worth $340,000 more than the other. Same house, same price, same 15 years. The only difference? One of them thought their house was the investment. The other one knew the house was never the point. By the end of this video, you're going to understand which one you are, and it's probably not who you think. Here's what almost every American is taught, usually before they're old enough to have a credit score. Buy a house. It's the smartest thing you'll ever do with your money. Rent is throwing money away. Your house will make you rich. It's not a financial strategy. It's a script. And most people never question it, because everyone around them repeats it like it's gravity. Parents say it. Realtors say it. That uncle at Thanksgiving says it right before the second plate of food. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody asks. If a house is such a great investment, why do most homeowners have no idea what their actual annual return has been? Ask a stock investor what their portfolio returned last year, and they'll tell you the number in seconds. Ask a homeowner what their house has actually returned them, after interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and the money that could have gone somewhere else, and you'll get silence. Or a shrug. Or, well, it's worth more than I paid for it. That's not a return. That's a guess dressed up as a fact. Let's go back to those two people. We'll call them Jordan and Alex. Jordan, early 30s, married, decent income. In 2011, Jordan buys a $250,000 house. Puts down $25,000. Feels like the responsible, grown-up thing to do. Everyone congratulates them. Alex, same age, same income, same city, same year. Alex looks at that same $250,000 house and decides to rent a comparable place instead. Rent is cheaper than the mortgage payment would have been. Alex takes that $25,000 down payment and the monthly difference between rent and what a mortgage would have cost and invests it instead. Nothing exotic, a simple, boring index fund. For the next 15 years, nothing dramatic happens to either of them. No lottery wins. No crashes that wipe anyone out. Just two ordinary financial lives running in parallel. Jordan pays the mortgage every month. Fixes a roof. Replaces a water heater. Pays property taxes that quietly climb every year. Feels proud every time a friend says, "Smart move buying when you did." Alex just keeps renting. Keeps investing the difference, month after month, without really thinking about it. No pride moments. No dinner party bragging rights. Just automatic transfers into an account Alex barely checks. 15 years later, they run the numbers. Jordan's house is now worth $410,000. Feels like a win, $160,000 of appreciation. Except once you subtract what actually went out the door, the interest paid, the property taxes, the insurance, the repairs, the closing costs on the way in, the real gain is much smaller than it looks on paper. Somewhere in the range of ordinary. Not bad. Not the retirement plan everyone assumed it would be. Alex's investment account? It's sitting at just over $410,000 too, but with almost none of the maintenance headaches, none of the property tax increases, and full liquidity. Alex could move states next month with zero friction. Here's the part that stings. Jordan feels richer because a $410,000 house looks and feels like an asset you can touch. Alex's number is just digits on a screen. But the math doesn't care about feelings. Now, I'm not telling you this because I hate home ownership or because I think everyone should rent forever. That's not the point of this video. I wanted to actually understand why this belief is so unshakable, so I went looking. I read through the actual math behind price-to-rent ratios in different cities. I built out a simple side-by-side model, mortgage costs, taxes, insurance, maintenance, opportunity cost of the down payment, versus renting and investing the difference. What I found wasn't renting is always better or buying is always worse. It's more specific than that, and more useful. Because the real answer depends on a handful of numbers most people never actually calculate before signing a 30-year loan. So here's the question we need to answer. If buying a home isn't automatically the wealth-building machine everyone claims it is, what actually determines whether it's a good financial decision or a quiet trap? There are 4 numbers that decide it. Almost nobody looks at all 4 before they buy. Let's go through them. Number 1, the price-to-rent ratio. This is simple. Take the price of a home, divide it by what it would cost to rent a comparable place for a year. If that number is low, buying tends to make more sense. If that number is high, meaning the purchase price is dramatically more than a year of rent. You're often paying a steep premium just for the feeling of ownership. In a lot of major U.S. cities right now, that ratio sits in a range where renting and investing the difference is mathematically the stronger move. Not emotionally, mathematically. Number 2, the real cost of ownership, not just the mortgage. Here's what the buying is always better crowd conveniently leaves out. A mortgage payment is not the cost of owning a home. It's just one line item. Add property taxes. Add homeowners insurance, which has climbed sharply in many states. Add maintenance. The honest, industry standard estimate is roughly 1% of the home's value every single year. On a $400,000 home, that's $4,000 a year, quietly, whether you budgeted for it or not. Add closing costs on the way in and realtor fees on the way out if you ever sell. Stack all of that up, and the true monthly cost of a home is often 30 to 50% higher than the mortgage payment alone suggests. Number 3, opportunity cost, the one nobody calculates. This is the one that changed everything for Alex in our story, and it's the one almost no one factors in. That down payment, say $25,000 to $80,000 depending on the market, doesn't just disappear into a house. It disappears instead of going into the market, or a business, or anywhere else it could have grown. Money always has a job. If it's locked into home equity, its job is sitting there, growing slowly, a liquid, unable to compound anywhere else. This is the invisible cost. You never see a monthly statement for it. There's no line item called money I didn't make because it was trapped in my walls. But over 15 to 30 years, that invisible cost can be the single biggest number in the entire equation. Number 4, liquidity and flexibility. This one isn't about dollars, it's about optionality. A house is one of the least liquid major assets an average person will ever own. If a better job shows up in another city, if a relationship changes, if the neighborhood shifts, or if you simply want out, you can't sell a house in an afternoon. You're looking at months, fees, staging costs, and a market that may not cooperate with your timing. An investment portfolio can be adjusted, rebalanced, or partially liquidated in a matter of seconds. Flexibility has a price. Most people pay it without ever writing it down. So does this mean buying a home is always the worst move? No. And this is the part that surprised me most while researching this. There's a very specific window where buying wins clearly, and it has almost nothing to do with the house itself. Buying tends to make strong financial sense when 3 things line up at once. You're planning to stay put for at least 7 to 10 years, so the upfront costs have time to be absorbed. The price-to-rent ratio in your specific market is on the lower end, not the inflated end. And this is the one people skip. You'd actually invest the difference if you rented instead, rather than just spending it on a lifestyle upgrade. That third one matters more than people admit. Because for a lot of people, the honest comparison isn't rent and invest the difference versus buy. It's rent and invest the difference versus rent and spend the difference on everything else. If you wouldn't actually invest the gap, then the forced discipline of a mortgage might genuinely be the better path for you. Not because the math favors it, but because your behavior does. That's the real answer. It's not housing is good or housing is bad. It's know your market's numbers, know your own discipline, and stop treating a 30-year decision like a personality trait. Here's the biggest lesson underneath all of this. A home is not automatically an investment just because the price on Zillow goes up over time. An investment is something you evaluate with real numbers: return, risk, liquidity, opportunity cost. A home is, first and foremost, a place to live. Sometimes it's also a good financial decision. Sometimes it's a very expensive emotional one dressed up in financial language. The people who build real wealth aren't the ones who bought a house and hoped. They're the ones who ran the numbers on everything, including the decision everyone else treats as automatic. So before you sign anything, or before you keep congratulating yourself on a purchase you never actually ran the math on, go find your city's price-to-rent ratio. Add up the real cost of ownership, not just the mortgage. And be honest with yourself about whether you'd actually invest the difference or just spend it. The house was never the real decision. The math was. If you want to see exactly how to run these numbers for your own city and situation, that's exactly what I'm breaking down in the next video. Click it now.